Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to look at the traditional dim sum Cantonese style of Char Siu Bao using the Tangzhong method. And as always, hit the like and subscribe button. Tangzhong is basically a method to pre-gluconize the starch in the flour, meaning they can absorb more water. To make Tangzhong, you basically need to start with 2/3 cup of water, followed by 1/3 cup of milk and about 60 grams of bread flour. So basically over a medium to low temperature, give it a stir for about 3 or 5 minutes. And after a while, it'll start to coagulate into a thick slurry. And be careful, don't overcook it. And when your Tangzhong comes together, put it off to the side and let it cool down to room temperature. Alright, to make dough, you'll need about 790 grams of bread flour, 80 grams of sugar, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of milk, 12 grams of active dry yeast, 4 tablespoons of butter melted, and give that part a good mix before we add our Tangzhong. And once that comes together, add your Tangzhong. And from here, we're going to mix it on a medium to low speeds for about 12 to 16 minutes. And after 16 minutes, this is what the dough should look like. Now in this step, we're going to just basically take the dough out and roll it out by hand until we have a nice, smooth, firm, elastic dough. And so we're going to put this dough in a nice oiled pan and proof it for about 3 hours, and you should see the dough double or triple in size. So when it comes to the filling, it's basically the same recipe as my last video, so check that video out. But the main difference between this recipe is the maltose versus the sugar. And the maltose gives it a more gelatinous feel and taste. And a word of caution, don't add more than 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I'll explain later. So after 3 hours, start preparing your workspace with flour, grab your dough, and section it off into approximately 16 pieces. And with your 16 pieces, let's start rolling them out. So with the Tangzhong method, the one thing you'll notice is that these doughs are incredibly light and fluffy, which means we'll get some incredible buns later. So roll out the dough in the ball, squish it to the palm of your hands, and roll it out, tapered along the edges. And this is what the final result should look like. So our maltose filling has been sitting in the fridge, which helps gelatinize the filling, which makes it easier to work with. If you haven't done so, ration it into 16 pieces. When it comes to wrapping your bun, make a C with your fingers, put your dough over it, and use your other 2 fingers to make an indent in the center of the dough. Grab your portions of your filling and dump it into the center of that. Pack it really well. So when it comes to wrapping your buns, you're basically using these 3 fingers. You start off making a small pinch on one side and using your index finger and your thumb to complete the rest of the pleats along the circumference of the bun. And after you get to the final pinch, you're going to give it a little twist to seal the bun. And there we go. One perfectly beautiful pork bun. And before we send it, we're going to give it a nice egg wash. This is 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water. And this egg wash will give the Char Siu pork bun its nice classical golden brown color. So don't skip this step. And after that, we're going to coat it with some white sesame seeds. And this step is totally optional. So I'm going to preheat the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and then bake it at 350 for 21 to 24 minutes. And for the final wash, we're going to coat it with some sugar water. This is 2 tablespoons water and 1 tablespoon of hot water. So the Tangzhong and the Maltose makes a significant difference in this recipe for the Char Siu Bao. And when you compare it to the simplified method, which I had in my other video before, you can see how big a difference in size. So choosing between which recipe depends on how much time you have. If you have the time, go for the traditional method. So that's all I have for today. If you found this video informative and interesting, hit the like button. If you want to see more great videos from me, hit the subscribe buttons. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, leave in the section below. Until next time, happy cooking.